So it's so important, this element of being conscious of your skills in handling anger and your conflict. What do you do about it? So metaphysically, you need to do a lot of deep breathing when you're angry. What they teach you in anger management is to step back from the situation, physically step back a step or two, and take that deep breaths, 3 deep breaths, 10 if you can do it. By the time you take those deep breaths, you're actually dispelling a lot of the anger, and that's how you can handle it better. But I'll share with you this little joke here. Thomas Jefferson once said, when you're angry, count to 10. When very angry, count to 100. Mark Twain changed that a little bit and said, when angry, count to 4. And when very angry, swear. Resort to your swearing. Okay, but here's what happens with anger. That karma's really bad, and of course, I mean, the extreme case of Betty, who murdered her husband, she's in prison for the rest of her life. But here's a karmic reaction you wouldn't expect. And March 28th, this is a true story, March 28th, 2004, Shannon Kramer's plans to fire a rocket toward his girlfriend went awry when the firework ricocheted inside to the car and divided between his legs, bursting into a display that burned hair and skin from his feet and his groin. Now, is that karmatic justice or not? So beware when you set out nasty thoughts to people and you use your anger for destructive persons. Please beware that it can come back on you. In our belief system, what goes around comes around. And you know, it says in the Bible, God says, "The vengeance shall be mine," and it is the truth. You watch karma every time. And I see it through people who are nasty and hurt people. You see it all the time. You may not live to see all of you want to see, but you'll see it. So the minute you're feeling angry, what are we going to do? We're going to dispel it. We're going to take a few deep breaths. Okay. The other thing you can do is ask an outside family member who's objective. Wait a minute. Get a reality check. Am I right or is he wrong? Am I out of control or what? You know, I had a student tell me once in class she was fighting with her husband because he wanted to do things on the weekend, and she always felt it was more important to stay home and do the chores. She wanted her house perfect. If the socks were in the box and everything, she would not leave until all the laundry was done and all that, so it never happened because she worked full time. So her husband was getting fed up, and he was starting to go out on the weekends on his own and enjoy the weekend. And I said to her, I said, you know, I mean, how bad are the socks piled up? Is it like 1 week's worth? I think you better ask another family member, who's out of reality here? Are you being obsessive compulsive about your cleaning? Or do you not want to be with your husband? Get a reality check. What is the truth? Because you've got to find that happy medium. For marriages to start to splinter over something like socks on the floor, it's really sad. Today's marriages are much more frail than, say, 50 years ago. 50 years ago, people stayed. The values were different. Stayed a longer time. In our generation, and currently, if somebody doesn't put the lid on the toothpaste right, it's enough for divorce, you know. So please watch what it is that's triggering you. Know your trigger points, and know if that person's pushing your trigger points, because your opponent always learns what's your Achilles heel. Mm-hmm. What is it that really sends you? Say, well, that's it. I'll punish you. I'm taking the kids, and you're not going to see them, and that's enough to flare you up. Well, that would flare people up, but that's not the reality of what the situation's going to be. So you want to dispel it. When you are angry, do what we do. Wrap yourself in white light, which is protection. Send pink light to the person that you're angry about, or situation you're angry about. Could be a job setting or whatever. And also remember to meditate on it. Go back deep into your meditation. Ask your guidance, your higher beings, what can I do to help this? And you'll get images, or you'll get words that come to you. Everybody has a different way that it relates to them. But before you respond, they always say, don't answer when you're tired. When you're very tired, everything looks worse. Sleep on it, you'll feel better. Do not fight out of anger at that moment. If you want to have a discussion about your bills or about your cars or something about managing the kids, do it when you're calm. Do it when you're calm. If the other person isn't calm, don't feed into it. Don't let them bite you. Stop and say, you know what, this isn't a good time. Let's just be quiet about it. I really want to talk to you about it later. So you have to take the higher road. You have to, because you have these tools, because you have this insight, and because you are light workers. Please remember that. It's not easy. That's your challenge in life. The wiser you get, the more you have to use your wisdom. And God bless you. I leave you with that. God bless you.